On this week's episode of Black Girls Speak.
And it can feel like overwhelming.
Yes.
Right? But like you just gotta do it for yourself and remember, I'm doing this for myself.
Not for their validation,
not
but
for them.
mine.
Yeah. And
Welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Speak. I am your host, Cleo the Godmother, and to the left of me, I have the great, the amazing, the wonderful Samantha Girard.
Hello. Hello.
So today, we're going to talk about all things entertainment. This is one of my great friends that I met here at the Academy of Art in San Francisco. And we built a really, really, really good relationship, especially just being actors and being hungry and working for things, right? But we're gonna get into her life. I'm nosy, you know. I'm a nosy girl.
You're not even nosy. I just love it. You just build me up.
You know. Tell me your earliest memory when you were acting.
Earliest one.
Yes, earliest memory.
Well, I started in community theater. So
Okay.
that was really where I started the journey.
Okay.
I think I was like 15, yeah, maybe 14. And I got to be the Little Mermaid. And that was so fun.
Were you the lead?
Yeah, I was the lead in the Little Mermaid.
Did you have red hair?
Yeah, I wore the wig and everything. It was fantastic. And we had these like styrofoam shells that clipped onto like my
Oh, so you were a full-blown mermaid.
It was everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it was so fun. It was the
Okay.
best. And I think that was the time that I was like, I love this.
What made you love it?
I always wanted to jump into a character and like learn scripts. Like I literally devoured that script in like 2 days. I knew all of my lines.
She devoured it.
Yeah. Like I just loved it. It was so much fun. And I always felt like I wanted to be in the spotlight and I wanted to.
Oh, she was in the spotlight.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not ashamed to say it. I did. I really did.
Yeah.
You know, and I fell in love with like the cast and the crew and the whole process. Like making the show, that whole process of rehearsal and building up to it and then finally like performing it for other people to see and like having that joy of people responding. I was like,
because it was on theater.
It was live theater. So and we were singing and dancing and you know it was like a kids theater, so it wasn't really like that big of a production. Looking back on it, it's like so cute, but like in the moment when I was doing it, it was the best feeling. And so I was like, okay, I love this. I want to go into this somehow. I don't know how, but I do.
So then what's your earliest memory of being on film?
I think that started in community college for me. About like 18.
Okay.
Yeah. Because my friend needed to do a project for her directing class. And she was like, I think you'd be perfect for it. And we basically like there was no talking in the footage. It was like all of like a cinematic story that you just watch.
The music behind it.
Yeah, and it was so cute because it was about like this girl who was like really into art and she had a crush on this guy, and so she like tried to show him through art, and it like ends up getting mistaken for like another guy who did it, and then they actually end up really liking each other.
So it was
like a total flip. But then she was like sad about it because that's her crush. But then in the end, like she was happy she brought two people who actually really wanted to confess that they love each other together.
Aww.
And they didn't feel like okay doing that.
We talk about film. We talk about theater.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about the process.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the process, especially the comparisons and the differences in preparing for being on stage and then preparing for film. We can talk about comparisons first.
Yeah.
What do you think are some similarities to getting ready for a theater performance? Besides being nervous out of your mind.
Yeah.
You have to perform whatever you're doing on spot.
And it's live. Like,
you can't mess
retake.
up. Yeah, at all.
I mean, I think the similarity is like the vulnerability.
Yes.
Right? You're no matter what you're doing, whether it's theater or film, you're being your most vulnerable self.
Yes.
You are diving into a character, becoming them, and hoping for the best.
True.
And hoping something surprises you.
True.
Right? That it's not like robotic and you're doing it again
the
and again
same
and
thing
again.
over
like
and over again.
it's something new every time. And I think that's the same preparing that happens with both.
This is true.
You know?
I agree.
Yeah. So that's what I would say for those two.
I think I agree with you in that way, because I feel like an actor's process, especially for either film or theater, is kind of the same.
It is.
Well, not everybody's specific process, but like the
Right.
process of getting prepared for something like that
Yeah.
is the same in a way.
I think
No, what do you
there's
think?
more like preparation though.
Yes,
I was gonna say
for
like
theater?
differences. There's a lot of differences.
There
for sure.
are. I feel like the differences are more.
Yeah.
Do you think that you have to prepare more for a theater than a film, or?
I
What
wouldn't
do you
say I wouldn't say more,
Okay.
but I would say you prepare differently
Mm,
because in theater you're preparing with a whole group of people.
that is true. You have rehearsal with people.
You're doing everything together.
You think it's easier though because you have people to like you're playing every time you rehearse on theater, it's like you're literally playing off of somebody else. Whereas
I
film,
would say yeah.
you kind of go home, prepare on you get on your trailer, prepare, and then you go out with the people.
Yeah. I would say theater in my experience, and like I was doing it when I was younger.
Right.
You know, I think more evolved theater like Shakespeare and things like that
Right.
are definitely difficult.
Definitely.
But I would say it's easier in the sense like, yeah, you always have someone to play off of. You always
Right.
have someone to practice with,
Mhm.
you know, so you can really get that in your body. And it just comes out like every time you're on stage. Versus in film, I feel like a lot of it's very isolated. Like you're saying, you're in your trailer.
So you agree?
Yeah, like you're in your trailer, you're
Mhm.
preparing, you're trying to create this world before
Right.
you've really ever seen it or been in it.
Yeah.
And then you get confronted with a new person.
Right.
And
every
then you're
time.
like, oh, everything I just made doesn't work. Throw that out.
Right.
Start over. And sometimes that happens a lot in film,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Because I feel like with theater, like I said, you rehearse with the same people.
Yeah.
You kind of already know what to expect.
Mhm.
I think the when it's live, that's what makes the stakes higher,
Totally.
and that's what makes the characters change.
Yeah.
But that also can show you as an actor how good you are.
Mhm.
How good are you with something changing right in front of you? Whereas film, it's a take.
Yeah.
Okay, cut, we're done. So the director gonna say, do the same thing again.
Yeah.
Whereas theater is just that. Whatever
No.
you did is whatever you just did.
Yep.
You
And
can't
gotta
say
live with that.
you can't say cut. You can't say, oh, let's start over. Like whatever happens is whatever happens on stage.
Yeah, and you have to live with that. And you
I've
have
had
to
a
go
lot
off
of
the stage
friends.
and be
Right,
like,
I've had
okay.
a lot of friends who have like some of the most embarrassing moments on stage.
I do.
What happened?
When I was in The Little
You gotta
Mermaid.
tell me.
When I was in The Little Mermaid, and it's a kid's theater,
Right.
you know? So we're wearing like these skin-colored leotards. I have like this like sequin like skirt pant situation. And then I had like two foam seashell cups like on the top,
When you're-
right? And they're just snapped into the side, and it's a kid's show. So I was like doing this one movement, and I accidentally clipped the seashell, and the whole thing like flew off. Right?
Wait,
Like flew off, and I mean I'm not topless. I have
Oh,
I
okay.
have a leotard on.
Okay.
But it was still like there was the shock of is she topless under
Because
right?
it was
'Cause it was
nude.
like
it
you
was the
couldn't
same.
yeah, you couldn't really tell that I was actually not topless at all. So
So
immediately I
people
had to like
thought you were topless. on
yeah, there was
stage.
like a split second where there was like you know,
and you heard it from the,
oh
from the
yeah,
crowd. We were
oh
like,
yeah, and I had to keep going.
that's what I miss the most about theater. the audience's reaction to me
Yeah.
doing what I'm doing.
Mhm.
The audience literally lets you know if you're making it or not.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, that's what I mean, like the stakes on stage
Oh, you can feel
are
it.
so high. As soon as the curtains open, you're like,
But it's so exciting too. That's
that's
the
one thing I
thrill.
miss about theater. I miss doing theater for that very moment, for just
For that thrill.
that feeling of like, oh my God, the curtains open.
Yeah.
Like it's over.
I really do like later in my career.
Right?
I want to get back into it.
I said the same. I'm like,
Because
once
I
I,
was
get,
like-
like when I'm like, am I good? Late 30s, early 40s, I want to just do Broadway for the rest. Just let me
Oh,
just
yeah.
do Broadway. Let
Yeah.
me just do something little.
If I had the privilege to do Broadway, I'd be so psyched.
Right, and go on tour.
It's a lot of work, but I love it.
It is a lot of work, but it's like what we do. Like
yeah, it's who we are as people.
Who are your inspirations? Let's get into that. Let's get into that.
Oh my gosh, inspiration.
Do you have any like people that it don't have to be actors, you know, it can be anybody.
Yeah.
But who you feel like inspires you as far as being an artist? Because I don't like to say we're just actresses, we're artists. We produce.
We are. Yeah.
We create. We're creatives. So who inspires you creatively as an artist?
I feel like Meryl Streep, of course, because it's like the GOAT.
Like,
you know?
what are we talking about?
The
what?
best of all time.
What? Devil Wears Prada?
Because,
don't play.
Well, not only that, but because like her transition in Hollywood from like she talks a lot about this, like when she was younger versus when she became 40, and like how Hollywood treated her differently. Like she got 4 roles offered to her in the same year she turned 40 that were all like witches or like the mother, you know, or like
they put her in a box.
Right, they put her in this thing of like that's what you have to play now. And I love that she talks about like breaking out of that a lot and what's that mean. And like, yeah, you can play the mother, but maybe you're crazy, you know, or like there's so many roles that she's played that she's just kind of broken the mold, even though she was given
Devil
one.
Wears Prada.
Exactly.
That's probably my favorite movie
So
that she's
good.
ever been in. Like, what?
Yeah, and then of course like Greta Gerwig, I love her. Because I've gotten into directing more, and I just...
we gonna
I know, we're gonna talk about that.
We're gonna touch on that.
But, like, I love that she always played such interesting female characters that were always trying to, like, express the female experience in a way people could digest.
Yes.
And then she moved into directing when she was even talking about, like, how she didn't feel ready, right? Because she was a female director, and she didn't feel ready. And then she jumped in, and she was like, no, I have to do this because I have stories to tell. And I just identified with that so much in this like past year, you know, and so let's talk about it.
No disrespect to nobody, but is there any actors that you wouldn't want to be like? Are there any actors that you feel like are boxed in or are going a route that you wouldn't go?
It's hard to say because like I feel like in this industry, it's like sometimes it's not really your choice. Like you get put into a box and then like you have to find your way out of it somehow. You know, I would say like a good example of that is like Margot Robbie. Like in the beginning of her career, I feel like she was very much like the beautiful blonde, who, like the girlfriend or the one you would admire or like the rich wife. You know, and then she started playing like Harley Quinn and all those characters, and like really just like broke the glass completely. Yeah, that was so very good. And I just feel like she became a producer as well. Yeah, and so I think she did a really amazing job in that. You know, because there was a very stereotypical role that she was playing. Yes, it was. Yeah. So that, I mean, that's not really a route I'd want to go, but I understand, like, sometimes you start somewhere, but it doesn't mean that's where you're going to end up.
Destination. So did you know that you were going to be an actress, or were you going to go a different route?
We were talking about this briefly, but I always wanted to be a singer first.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, like the next Taylor Swift, or like Joni Mitchell. And like I did like shows when I was younger. Like I went to open mics and sang my music, and people were like, "You really need to make your songs. Like, you need to put these out there."
So why don't you post your singing on like Instagram?
I don't know. I think I've always felt so raw in comparison to like some of the singers that are out now. You know, like my voice, I always felt, at least personally, like my voice isn't perfect.
It's not supposed to be.
You know, but like that's the inner monologue we have, right? And I'm trying to break that.
No.
Yeah.
I'm saying no. I'm talking about, we've seen this girl like do millions of roles, be super fun, cry on camera. You can't even post a singing video.
Well, you know what the difference is? You know what the difference is?
Tell me the difference.
That I'm playing a character. Singing I'm not.
That's you.
It's me. It's my stories. It's my insecurities.
So you're more connected to it.
Yeah.
So it brings more of a fear to it.
Totally.
So then what are you scared of? That they're not going to like you?
Yeah. It's really that simple. It's so stupid when you
What?
say it out loud.
It is.
And then I think right now, just because of like transitioning from school and I also don't have the like technical skill right now. Like
Okay.
I need to learn that, which is
Okay.
learnable.
Right.
I just need to do it.
You're
And
in
I'm
LA,
getting
like,
I'm getting
what
to
are we
that
doing?
point in my life that I'm like, okay, I need to just do it. Like,
you're in
F
LA.
it.
Like that's
Why
the
not?
that's the central for
Yeah.
music and acting. Like
I know.
What are we doing?
So I think that's what I'm
That
gonna
would be
start
great to
working
have.
on.
If you gotta look at me now, I'm getting into.
She's like, you need to do this now.
No, but listen, I say that because I'm the same way. I will hold myself back and not do things.
You're right.
But listen to me now. I'm thinking on a business aspect. I'm
Okay.
saying so you're an actor, right?
Yeah.
And you can sing. They see those two qualities. You're gonna be alright.
Yeah.
What are we doing? I have comp tickets now.
My mom has always told me, she's like, you're gonna be on Broadway someday.
Like, what are
you're just going
We're
to.
speaking it
It's-
into existence. So
Yeah.
send me my comp tickets.
Okay, well,
I'm gonna be in the building.
yes.
Like, what are we doing?
This is what I love. I love this because when we talk, I always feel like, oh my god, you're so right. This is dumb. Like, this is dumb. I need to just do it.
Just do it.
Like, and I go home and I'm like,
That's
like-
that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Encouragement.
Yeah.
Go do it.
okay, well,
Yeah. Like I'm ready.
see me in a year. I'll have an album.
You heard it here first. Oh my god, we got the y'all. Listen, I feel so special right now. You guys just heard. My girl said she's gonna have an album next year, so that means that we heard it here on this mic
Yep.
first. Black
I'm
Girl
doing it.
Speak heard it 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Now we talking about this big transition
Yeah.
out of school,
Yeah.
from school to LA now.
Mm-hmm.
How has it been?
I mean, at first it's overwhelming. I think a little bit because
That makes me nervous. Now,
No,
you
no.
know I'm graduating
No,
in December.
I'm trying to
so now
tell
I'm
you
nervous.
that
Like, ooh.
I'm trying to tell you, like, it's overwhelming because you're going to feel that way at some point,
Mhm.
and you got to be okay with it. You
Yeah.
got to ride through it.
Mhm.
Because me, I was like trying to fight it. I'm like, I'm not overwhelmed. I got this.
I got it.
I'm good.
I got it.
And then I got there and I was like, oh, there's more things for me to do. There's more things for me to figure out. I thought this is the end. I'm good. I'm golden. Let's ship off my reel and we're good. And then I got there and the strike's happening and I'm like, oh,
That too. How
there's-
was that affecting your work out there? Like,
it's hard because I think as a new actor in the business, you don't want to overstep the boundary.
right?
You don't
right,
want to cross the picket line because you want to be part of SAG.
Right.
And right now, I feel like I'm very like, okay, maybe this is not what I should be doing right now. Just right now.
Right.
Like,
Not forever.
Put this on pause.
Mhm.
Work on something else.
Mhm.
Build up your, escrow
Right.
and other things.
Mhm.
So when it does open up, you're ready. You're
Mhm.
ready to launch.
But see, I feel like everything happens the way that it should.
Yeah, I agree.
So I feel like it's gonna work out in your favor
I think so.
because you're not jumping straight off into it. You're
Yeah.
kind of giving yourself time
Yeah, and
to
like,
figure it out.
I mean, like, I've reached out to a few agencies like during the strike,
Right.
and a lot of them were like, "Well, we can't take anyone right now because it's a strike," And then
Crazy.
there was a couple that were like, "We would love to have you, but we can only take commercial," and it was just so weird because I'm confronted with this opportunity, right? I was like, "Oh, this is great," and then I spoke to an entertainment lawyer because I was like, "Well, I don't know the business well enough here.
Mhm.
I need to speak to someone who does."
Right.
And she gave me like really wonderful advice, even though I didn't know her very well at all. And she was like, I understand, like, you're talented. Like,
Yes.
you're probably really talented
Yes.
and you need to get out there. But I think the best thing to do is to be patient because you don't want to sign into something that is going to hold you in that contract for a whole year when strike ends and you're still in that contract when you could have gotten a better agency to begin with.
And you
And-
have more options.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean like don't follow an opportunity when you presented one. Like
Right.
I followed that opportunities, like saw where it could go, and then I got this advice, and I was like, that's ringing true to me right now
Yes.
because I'm not feeling like this is the best path to go.
Right.
And I was like, okay, maybe I'll just wait a little bit and retry my options when things open up again. And that's the main thing is like keep trying, like keep retrying, keep submitting. It's exhausting sometimes, but like you have to. It's part of it. That's the work aspect, right? The gig is the gig.
Right,
it's
the
fun.
gig. I got it.
It's like,
right,
yes,
I got the gig.
But the work part is the auditioning and the agencies and the like submitting yourself to things. You know, and it takes a lot of encouragement. Like, don't feel discouraged that you feel discouraged.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, that was a word.
Like
that
really.
was don't sit in that. You cannot sit in that.
Mm-mm.
That is so true.
And it's so easy to.
It is.
And I do it too.
We all do.
You know, but then give yourself some time.
Mm-hmm.
Find something else that feels good, interesting, and go back at it.
So my next question is the process of an agent.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So from what I started to understand, like it's a double-edged sword. Like it really is, because in order to get a good agent, you need a reel. In order to get a reel, you need to have been in projects. In order to get in projects, you need to audition. To get good projects, you need to have an agent. Like, it's a circle, right? So if you don't have a reel, my best advice is like try to start filming yourself doing really good monologues.
Yes.
Or and try not to pick something that's really well known.
Right.
Pick something that's more original if you can. And if you have a friend, say who's in cinematography or in directing, try to get together, try to make something that they can see you in. Right? And then the process of that is like really just going online and finding good agencies and going through IMDb to make sure that they're verified.
Right.
See who their clientele is. The biggest thing is a lot of the bigger agencies like CAA, right, is they don't allow just submissions. You have to be referred to in order to be in those ones. So try to find one that's a little smaller, that allows that.
Right.
Definitely do your research on if you can or you cannot submit, because they will be mad if you try to submit and they don't take those. You know, because then
we're giving you the game. And we're giving you the game right here.
Yeah, and they remember names. So, like, if you do things that they explicitly tell you not to do, they will probably remember. Big things that I realized is some places still take, in-person submissions where it's a headshot, a resume, and like a reel. Right. And you all put it together. You have to use specific size paper. It can't be 8x11. It has to be like a 8x9.5 or 8x10. So it all matches and it fits well. Right. Otherwise, they'll see it in a stack, and if it's the wrong size, they'll just throw it away.
Giving you the game.
Things like that. There's all those little things.
How long is your reel?
Mine is a little over what it should be.
What are the requirements for it?
So really, you should keep it to a minute.
I think it should be a minute.
An agent will know in the first 10 seconds if they see anything. Right. You know. So also try to get some opinions on it too. Was it engaging from the minute that you started watching? Mm-hmm. Was it not? Mine's I think a minute 45.
But also too,
but I have a lot of projects.
When you've done a lot of work, you want to include everything.
Yeah.
So you gotta pick the best one.
And I've put most of my best work in the beginning.
Is Killer on the reel?
Yeah, it is for a split second.
I like it. Look at me, I'm already liking it.
Split second. Because you gotta find those moments that are the golden nugget.
Yes.
You can't linger on a scene. You
not
just
for too
really
long.
can't. The best thing to do that I realized I didn't do the first time was I let too much screen time happen on my scene partner.
And not enough on you.
Yeah. So what
they don't care about the other person. No shade, no disrespect.
No, because you're the one that they're taking on the roster. Right. You're the person they want. Right. So something I did was once I finished my line, I cut where it flips onto him. Right. So that way it's only his last line of that. And then it cuts back to me having that reaction to his last line. So that way it's saving just a hair's breadth of time, but it makes a big difference. So
did you create your own reel? Did you cut it up?
Yeah,
yourself?
I cut myself, but I also got opinions from people at school here about what scenes I should have, what moments I should have. Because sometimes it's hard when you're watching yourself, you don't really know. You're so drawn in by it's yourself, your face. So you're like, okay, what's my golden nugget? I don't know.
So when did you finalize your reel? Was it before you graduated last December or?
It was after. It was like in June or July.
Awesome, spring. It was after you walked.
Yeah, it was after I walked. And they made one too, but I feel like some parts of it just weren't as fast. Like it needed a little bit cleaning up.
So you kind of redid it.
Yeah, so I kind of redid it myself. But luckily I knew how to do like really basic editing.
Right.
Which I highly recommend for any actor.
Which is why I love doing what I'm doing, because it literally helps me figure out how to edit.
Right.
Like,
it's so helpful down the line.
Yeah.
Because like even one of the teachers was saying today, like sometimes you have an audition that you need to do 24 hours. You don't have time to hire another person to do it
edit
for
your
you.
video. Yeah,
you have to do it.
Chop it up yourself.
So the sooner you practice that skill and the better you get at it, the better you're gonna be.
I already know just about who you are. I'm pretty sure when the strike is over, you're gonna get an agent. It's gonna be done.
I think so.
Not think. We know this. What is she talking about? She's gonna have an agent, right?
Yeah.
So my whole thing is, because we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
But I love talking about it for other people to hear how we speak to each other.
Right.
You're gonna have an agent. What are gonna be your non-negotiables? Because of course, this is the actor's mind. I got an agent now. Oh, I got the role. Oh, I'm finna have it all.
Yeah.
And of course, the agent is gonna send you what they think you would be good in. But what are what are things that you just are not doing? Like you're just not doing it.
I feel like I haven't, like smoking. Okay. I'm very firm on that.
Okay.
Like that's an easy one for me.
Okay.
I'm fine with mimicking. I'm fine with like, maybe even having it just in my mouth.
Right. But
I'm not okay with puffing and smoking. A, for my own health, and B, I just don't really want to promote that. Especially just with cigarettes.
Which is why I asked, because as an actor, you have a specific brand. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah.
You have that brand. So what's your brand? What are things that you're just not doing? So smoking is one.
Smoking is one, and then I also feel like anything doing like sexual assault, like really.
Oh, you're not okay.
Like very vividly.
So. Sexual assault as if it's happening to you, or you doing it to someone else, or both.
I think it's a bit of both.
Is it because of the emotional taxing of it?
I think yes, partially, but I also really dislike how in the film industry it's kind of desensitized. The action of it is desensitized, and it bothers me.
But that's because most of the big Hollywood people are doing things like that. But that's a whole
that's a whole basket of stuff.
We can talk about that for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But I see what you mean. It really is desensitized.
Like there's certain, I think, situations where I would be okay with it. Okay. If it were literally driving the story.
So it was a part of the
Yeah, like if this is actually has happened to someone and they want to talk about that and they want to show that,
and then you're okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Or if you're doing a biopic,
yeah,
and the person you're playing has
For me though, personally, I'm more okay with. It sounds weird even, but like it happening to me versus me doing it to someone else
because of the emotional tactic.
Because. Yeah, as an actor, me doing it to someone else means I have to have the mentality of like, I'm doing this to someone
else. And it's hard to get into that mentality.
Yeah, versus the other way around, it's a little bit different. But like, yeah, I just think that it's not used in a way that's story driven a lot of the time.
They just kind of throw it in there.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of ways in which you can show that without showing
them doing that.
Yeah.
This is true. So, smoking, sexual assault. Is there any more?
I think sex just for the sake of sex. It sounds weird.
We're okay. Yeah, we gotta dive into that.
Yeah.
So you already know a sex scene is okay. When you're watching, when you're watching a sex scene, of course, in your mind, you think that, oh my God, this is, it's happening.
Yeah.
But for an actor, from our perspective, it is all orchestrated that way.
It's coordinated.
Like everything is
every move, every hip
breath,
thrust, every kiss,
every eye roll, everything is orchestrated.
Yeah.
So it takes for the viewer, it's beautiful, but for us, it's very awkward.
Yeah, it can be.
It can be.
Yeah. And
very awkward.
That's where boundaries come into play, and I love that like SAG-AFTRA is enforcing, intimacy coordinators on set for union sets.
Right.
I think that's so important now for both men and women in their comfortability. But what I mean is like for the sake of
I'm about to say for you though.
No, I'm fine like doing a sex scene. I am okay with that. I'm okay with nudity. I don't know about full nudity.
But like
if it were non-sexual full nudity, I'd be okay with it.
Right.
If it's sexual full nudity, not so much. And what I mean for like sex for the sake of sex, I feel like there's a lot of scenes in films where they're just going at it. And there's no purpose to it.
For the sake of just going at it.
There's no storyline. It's not like they're, that's like their first time and they're talking about it and they're talking about consent or whatever.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of shows that do that. So
you are more on the aspect of if it's for the story, I'm cool.
Yeah.
But if we just doing it because y'all need some like a minute or two to add to the movie.
Or you just want to show some like tits and ass.
Yeah, you're not doing it.
No. Like it's like what's the purpose?
No, but
what's
for
the
real,
purpose?
I get it.
I'm also a huge like free the nipple advocate. I'm also a huge feminist, so I'm like trying to like.
That's why I'm asking you that because like you're so like women, and then you're like no,
there's very specific.
We're not doing that.
There's very specific things. I'm cool with sex. I think sex is great.
Okay.
If like that's what we want to show, awesome. If you want to show like interracial whatever, like do it, please. I'm so game for that.
Okay.
I just don't like it when that is the only female purpose in film.
That's where the feminist comes out. That's where the feminist comes out.
Yeah.
So you're using my body.
I love when
because of course sex sells.
Totally.
So of course you're gonna try to use that to sell the movie.
But your movie should stand on its own.
Without the sex.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of movies that don't have any sex in it that are the best movies ever. Smoking. Oh God. Sexual assault. Maybe nudity.
Yeah. Nudity I'd be okay with.
And sex for the purpose of the story.
Yeah.
So that's like what, 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Those are really good though.
Yeah,
those are really good.
I think it's what I've narrowed down to over time.
Right, those are really good.
And
crazy thing is, guys, when I ask, listen, when we have these, because I ask all my actor friends, like, what are your boundaries?
Yeah,
what are things you won't do? Because as an actor, they kind of they think you just want to do everything because you want money and you want fame. But it's like, no, we don't.
And there's times where you will miss out on an opportunity if you say no.
If you say no,
you have to be okay with that.
You gotta stand in that.
I had someone who referenced me for a short film, and they were gonna have me audition for it. And I read the script, and it required me to do a sexual assault act on someone else. And now the character might not even be thinking. Like I could see the character wouldn't be thinking that this is sexual assault. They just think that they're having a great time and having sex, right? But for me, reading it, I was like, ooh, that's a tough mentality for me to get into. And I don't feel comfortable with this. Like immediately reading, I was like, I don't feel comfortable with this. And I was very like, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much.
But no.
And they were like, okay.
But I love that.
And they found someone else. And that's going
But they are. That's the thing. They're gonna find someone else. So
but
you saying no is not gonna like, oh my God, end all be all.
But no should never be like a punishment.
Yeah, exactly. That too.
Because I feel like in the industry right now, we're trying to go towards that more. Like just because you won't do something very specific doesn't mean you should be like cut from the project entirely. Yeah. They can find ways to work around it.
They just don't.
I've done scenes where I'm supposed to be smoking like a bong, and they found a way around it.
I mean, if they want you in the
if they want
you, they're gonna have to do what they gotta do to keep you.
Yeah, but those are the choices you're gonna have to make along the way.
This is true.
And it's gonna be situational, no matter what you do.
No matter what.
And who knows? You might see me in a sex scene later and be like, "She said she wasn't gonna do that." But in the moment,
I'm about to say, and also too, you don't know what we talk about behind them closed doors with contracts and what we have discussed with these people. So
yeah, and like in the moment, if it felt right, I would do it.
Right.
You know.
True. Because like I was about to say, when I used to ask for this years ago when we first started, she would always be like, I don't know yet.
Yeah, I feel like I was building to like...
And I feel like I love that now that I'm asking you, you're very firm about it.
Mm-hmm.
It shows the growth of an actor. Like, this is something I would do, and this is something I'm not gonna do.
Yeah.
But you're an actress.
Yeah.
But you have so many other hats.
Yeah.
You have to dive into those hats. But
sure.
before I let her go, I have to talk about you transitioning from being an actress to now you and your fiance having this company, and you're this producer, you're this director. Let's talk about it.
Please.
Let's talk about it. Tell me how this came about.
I mean, it was so like circumstance because of the strike when we moved to LA, and we were like, what can we do right now? Nobody's hiring. We tried to get as many jobs as we could. No one was really hiring. It was just a very awkward time to be an actor and a cinematographer. And we sat down and we talked about it for a while, and we were like, well, why don't we make a company? And let me back up a little bit, because we had someone who reached out to Max, who's my fiance, Max Miles, name drop, and was like, hey, I was wondering if you would be willing to do like a video of me, and he's an artist and he wanted some video. And then I was sort of able to convince him, like, why don't we do it like a film, like a short film, or like a little documentary about you. And then through the process of like filming that, like the first day we got to filming, when we figured it all out, we were like, we need a company. Literally, we were like, we need a company. We need it like now. Like because today. We need the liability insurance. We need all this stuff to be really official. And also, we just wanted to have like a brand. Yeah. We didn't want it to just be like our names, blurted in there. Like we wanted a brand for ourselves. And that's where Alda Productions came into play. I love it. And we're so nerdy because Alda is actually from the Elvish word Alda, and that's means tree in Elvish. And so we really identify with trees and growth and seasons, right? And how things change and how trees can withstand time and damage and everything. Right, and that's the human experience. So we were like, okay, this is a great title for ourselves.
Yes, it is.
And then, we literally just dived in. Like, we did not know what we were doing. We're like, we never thought we'd be like a company owner, none of that. And then we researched it, and luckily, like, my family was super supportive, and they backed a lot of it to start. And then we just kind of hit the ground running. So it was really a confluence of events.
I love it. You guys have something coming out soon. Can we be expecting to see something?
I mean, probably next year, later next year.
We got the album next year.
Yeah, we have stuff.
It's stuff coming out.
We got stuff coming out.
I'm excited.
Me too. No, so it's actually called Swords in the Sand, and it's a micro documentary about Todd Williamson. He's an abstract artist, goes all around the world. It's about 5 minutes. Okay. It's very short.
Cute.
But
love it.
Yeah,
already.
I know. And so we've entered a few festivals already, and we're doing like a full festival run. So we're kind of waiting to see now what's gonna take and what's not. We got an honorable mention from the Athens International Film Festival, which was great.
Look at me.
I know. And then we just received news that we made final selection.
What?
I know. In I can't remember. It's like art theater festival, international festival in Argentina.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're official.
So probably in December or January of 2025 is when we'll have to we can post it, But I'm so excited for that.
That's amazing.
I know. It's really good.
You know how I'm in this.
Yeah.
What is the best advice you can give to a transitioning actress right now in the current modern time?
Jump in because you don't know what'll come of it, and don't be afraid to go outside your comfort zone. I never thought that I would be in producing and directing. Never. I was the entertainer. Right. I was the talent.
The star.
I was happy with that.
Right.
But then I was confronted with sort of this wall. I was like, oh, I can't really go into that right now. And then I was like, well, I love doing other things. What are some other things I can capitalize on? Right. And then
woman of many hats.
Yeah. And so we just jumped in. We had no idea what we were doing. We like still don't sometimes.
Right.
But you learn, and you
do.
just have to be tenacious. That's the biggest thing. Like,
Yes.
be eager, be tenacious.
Be hungry.
Yeah, and we balance I'm so lucky that I have a partner
Right?
who's so balancing of me, because he's very good with the technical. I'm not. And so like there's parts that we can take on each other. When I'm freaking out about it, he's not. When he needs some help, I help him.
We love
like,
Max.
You know, like it's
We love
just
Max.
it's so great. So the biggest advice is just jump in. Wherever you feel like there's a spark of something that you would enjoy, whether it's TikTok or you know, producing or writing or directing or sewing or painting or whatever it is. If you feel like a spark that this could be something good that you would love in your life and enjoy and see it in the future, do it. Figure out how to do it and do it. Because that's
I
what we
love it.
did. I mean,
No, but literally,
yeah.
that's wow. That's like the best advice. I don't mean like they're not even actors, but for any artist.
Yeah.
Just do
Anything.
it and
Just do
post it. What are you scared of? People not gonna like it. Oh well, they don't like half the stuff they see now.
No, and
Like who cares?
Like if you really think about it, the percentage of people liking something that you did versus the percentage of people disliking something that you did is a completely different statistic.
Yes.
Like, and I have to work through that too sometimes because I get afraid to post things,
Yeah, me
right?
too. What?
Like it's scary, judgment.
Yes.
Judgment is so scary,
Judgment
and it
is
can
so
feel like overwhelming,
Yes.
right? But like you just gotta do it for yourself, and remember, I'm doing this for myself,
Not for their validation,
Not
but
for them.
mine.
Yeah, and you're gonna grow into that. Even
Yes.
if you don't feel like you're doing it well now,
Mm-hmm.
you're never gonna feel like you're doing it well. Get over
Never.
Get over that.
Get over it.
Get over it, and just do it. Yeah.
And that's how we're gonna wrap up this episode
Oh my
of
God.
Black Girls Speak. Oh my God, thank you so much for coming.
Thank
Sim.
you.
You already know I see y'all, I hear y'all, and I love y'all. And y'all gonna see me again in the next episode, which is gonna be probably next week.
She gonna be famous too.
You know, I'm trying.
I really think you're gonna go far with this. This is amazing.
You know, I work hard. You know, I'm gonna cry. It's just so overwhelming sometimes, and I just don't even know. But you know, the switch be crazy. But it's okay, because I believe in myself.
You're great at believing in yourself.
You have to, because if
You
you
really,
don't,
really-
ain't nobody else gonna do it.
I admire her like so much.
You gotta just do it.
Yeah. You really do.
You heard it here first. Love y'all.
Love you
See y'all
guys.
soon.
Bye.